On this week's show, fall camp continues as we take a look at the tight ends and we go out of the office with tennis player Bruna Sampaio.
Plus, we highlight preseason awards for women's soccer, and LU field hockey is running the pack line defense.
What?
We'll tell you more in this edition of Flame Central.
Field hockey running the pack line defense.
Say what?
Yeah, more solid non-conference opponents for men's and women's hoops. It's just another week, another great show heading your way. Welcome inside our Flame Central studios. I'm Matt. She's Emily.
And just when you thought you can't root for Liberty enough, we'll also share a couple incredible off-the-field stories that you don't want to miss.
That's for sure. But with football season kicking off in a few weeks, we start on the gridiron with fall camp. The Flames had their first practice with full pads on Wednesday, so you know the real work now begins. As you can imagine, Chadwell and the coaching staff still in the process of installing this new offense, so it's no secret it'll take some time to get firing on all cylinders. As for the tight ends, Coach Cody Leducko spoke to the media recently and was clear about how much is asked of this position in this system. However, he's grateful to have veteran leaders like Austin Henderson, Bentley Hanshaw to set the example for this room. Both players actually said as soon as Chadwell was hired, they took the initiative to watch film on Coastal Carolina's offense from the 2020 to 2022 seasons. Coach Leducko told us they're running similar stuff that those guys have already seen throughout the spring and summer, but now they need to take it to the next level.
From a coaching standpoint of evaluating that film and wanting to see the growth, I want those base fundamentals to be there. You know, we've been going through it and it's been more hand placement, footwork. Well, now we're really ramping it up and you're clicking pads. That's where I want to see those fundamentals carry over, especially in the run game, making sure that we're carrying that over from the mental standpoint, now bringing it into the physical standpoint.
We spent a lot of time over the summer working a lot of technique that's specific to this offense. That's probably the biggest difference is slightly different schemes which require different techniques, so learning the fundamentals of that. So I'd say the time spent working on that has helped us make a jump from spring to fall.
I'm focused on dominating each day, focused on growing each day, competing with yourself at the end of the day is the most important thing. And then, we have competition with each other, but I can feel that it's special. It's not just like, oh, I'm trying to beat this guy out. No, I'm trying to lift this guy up. And, if he's better, I'm better. So we're just competing with ourselves each and every day, and it's been really good, just the group of guys that we have in the tight end room.
Excited to see those guys continue to grow in this offense. Well, each week I have the pleasure to host the Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage with two of the best in the biz, Matt Warner and Joe Yock. Nearly every episode, there is some sort of jaw-dropping moment, mainly because of Joe and his unpredictable behavior. However, this week, that big surprise came from head field hockey coach Nikki Parsley-Blocker.
We're implementing a new system this year, which we're really excited about, a new way to defend, which we've never done before.
You're doing pack line defense?
Hey, how does he know? Let's go.
Is it?
Yes.
Something like that?
I met up with Joe Pierre.
Did you really?
Richie, and was like, hey, I wanna assimilate this to field hockey.
Hating on me.
Yes.
Wow.
How did he know this? 10 of 10.
Stop hating on me.
Is this something that's utilized a lot in
No,
field? So you're
I just
kind of
made it
breaking,
up.
you're breaking new ground.
We're trying to. We'll see how it goes.
You heard it here first on the Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage.
Kind of what I was alluding to earlier. You have to find ways to close the gap, and that's kind of the premise of the pack line. Is we can double team, we can send extra numbers to the ball, just like they do in basketball, and deny. They call it in basketball the restricted area, but for us it's called the POMO. Yeah. We don't want to let the ball in there, so we just sat down and talked to Joe and was like, okay, teach me the pack line as if I was a freshman coming in.
Yep.
I would love to have been in that meeting.
It was so fun. It was probably
Keep
one of the best things I did all year.
Let me be clear, that was a total long shot guess by Joe Yock. But I'm telling you, we legit had no idea Nikki was implementing the pack line defense. How cool and unique. If you're interested in hearing more about how it all came about, check out our entire conversation with Coach. It's the Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage, and it's obviously where you need to go to get all of your exclusive Liberty Athletics content. Find it wherever you listen to your podcast or watch us on YouTube.
Yeah, speaking of Coach McKay and his pack line defense, there are a couple new opponents slated to face it during the Flames' non-conference schedule this upcoming season, thanks to a new agreement between Conference USA and the Western Athletic Conference. Liberty will face defending WAC champion Grand Canyon here at home and then also travel to Utah Valley. The Lady Flames will also benefit from this collaboration. They also host Grand Canyon and then hit the road to Stephen F. Austin. No date set for these matchups just yet, but we'll keep you posted on the entire men's and women's non-conference schedules as soon as they are released. Well, as you may know, senior forward Kyle Rode is a crucial part of the men's basketball program. Yes, he's a talented basketball player, but more importantly, he's a selfless teammate and a fearless leader. However, his character shines even brighter off the court, and it's been a light in the life of his new friend, Brogan Parsons.
You're good. You made 10 in a row yesterday.
I'm just so thankful to God for all that he has done and all that he has given to Brogan.
2 in a row?
Brogan Parsons was your typical 6-year-old boy.
He loves to fish, and so he would be outside all the time.
But what seemed like a normal illness was about to turn the Parsons world upside down.
Just a few of us in the house seemed to have a little bit of a flu. We weren't feeling well, just, flu-like symptoms. And Brogan also had it, I had it, and we didn't think anything of it. We took him to the doctor, and then we came home expecting him to improve, but he started seizing.
Jody's hysterical. I don't know what's going on. He's foaming at the mouth. His eyes are rolled back in his head. He's like a limp noodle. We almost lost him that day. It was very serious. I just kept on believing and praying that he would make it through it.
We later found out, days later, that he came down with the Powassan virus, which is a really rare tick-borne illness, very low percentage of getting it.
The Powassan virus, an illness so rare that fewer than 200 cases were reported in the U.S. between 2011 and 2020, causes infection of the brain. And in Brogan's case, it would drastically alter this once healthy little boy.
What changed is his ability cognitively to understand what we were saying and then also to speak.
He literally had to relearn everything. It was like the reset button was hit. So he had to learn how to swallow. He had to learn how to walk, how to use the bathroom again. He had to learn, and these are just the basic things.
For months, Brogan would be stuck in the hospital. First, there was a coma, then a grueling cycle of medication and sedation as doctors tried to fight the disease that was attacking his brain.
Like living in a nightmare. It got to a point where he would get all of his stuff off and get out the room and run out the room because he wanted to go home. And we'd have to pull him back in, and he would just break down and cry, and he didn't have control over his emotions, and just living in that day after day after day. It was like, God, when is this going to end?
Eventually, Brogan would be cleared to go home. The toll the disease took meant a long, slow road to recovery. But it was during this time that Brogan would develop a surprising passion.
Probably in the last couple of years, he started having a really big interest in basketball. He started just watching a lot of videos, YouTube, and then he wanted to play. It's just been something he just has really grabbed onto.
And so when the Parsons moved to Virginia in the spring of 2022 to be near to family, they began to look for ways to encourage this passion for hoops.
We were looking to see if we can get him involved in playing in a team, even in some camps, some clinics, anything that we could find.
It was then that the family was introduced to Liberty basketball player Kyle Rode.
I actually had a mentor of mine reach out. He mentioned to me that he knew a family that had a young kid that loved hoops and was looking for somebody to work him out and just to kind of be like a little mentor for him. And so I was, of course, all about it.
But how exactly would this work?
You? All? Right? Yeah, all?
Brogan is steadily improving, But his speech and cognitive abilities pose a different kind of coaching challenge.
Without even knowing anything about Brogan, Kyle just readily agreed to train him and work with him.
1, 2. Good, buddy. Perfect, perfect, perfect.
He met him, and immediately he didn't see any obstacles. He connected with him immediately. He communicates with him like I have never seen anybody communicate with him. He has this way of teaching, this very kind, patient, gentle, fun way that he works with Brogan. And Brogan just looks up to him and responds to him so well. It's amazing.
3, 2, 1. Yeah. Good. Hey, you were fast. With Brogan, he is so smart, and like once he sees something, he does it just like that. It's really amazing. So a lot of times I'll demonstrate it, and normally he does it right off the bat. So it's pretty wild to see, and now we've been training for so long, I can just tell him, hey, 1, dribble, and he'll know what to do, or hold his follow through, and just little keys like that he's picked up on, and he's so smart.
And what started as relationships centered on learning the game of basketball has quickly flourished into something far greater.
I can't even, describe it the way that they are together. And I know that Brogan just looks at him like a big brother. Brogan will tease Kyle, and Kyle will tease him back, and they'll just be laughing. And it's just really amazing when you watch the two together.
I think a lot of people kind of see the relationship and be like, oh, you're giving back, when really he's poured into me and gave me just a joy and a love for basketball in a different way. And it's so pure, like to see him with learning and loving the game. Throughout my whole life, like one thing I've tried to focus on is meaningful relationships. And this has probably been one of the most meaningful relationships I've had, especially with somebody younger than me, and through basketball. It's been a big blessing, man, and the platform God has given me at Liberty, and God orchestrated it, and couldn't have happened any other way, and it's been a blessing.
And while the road to healing is far from finished for Brogan, the game of basketball and his relationship with Kyle are helping him get better every day.
I love Papa.
I'm so thankful for all these blessings because Brogan he's thriving. He's so happy. He is so fun. He's funny. And, without all these things, I don't think he would have gone so far. And we're so thankful we have this opportunity to be with Kyle and to work with him, because it has really had such a strong impact on Brogan's life.
We have to take a time out, but coming up after the break, we go out of the office with a Rubik's Cube genius. Find out who it is.
And we hit the pitch for an inspiring testimony from men's soccer player Arnold Nyong'o. Keep it right here.
William Byron's gonna win. William Byron wins it at Atlanta. Hugs that white line, drifts up and comes to the line. Wins it.
Welcome to Liberty University's online programs, where living out your calling with integrity is what you train to do. And getting ready for the future doesn't mean missing out on the now. Because a university is more than buildings and books. And an education should set you free, not fence you in. Welcome to Liberty's global campus, where distance learning was pioneered and evolved into one of the top-ranked schools in the nation. Where protecting your budget, your time, and your education isn't just a theory, it's our priority. Here, degrees in your field reflect industry demands and help you get ahead of the competition. Where college comes to you, but you can come to college too. Game day, homecoming, graduation day. Your school, your values, your experience, your choice. Welcome to Liberty University, where we train champions for Christ.
So our daughter Bella did LUOA and she absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and all our kids, it was a little bit different how they did school because when they were in school, Duck Dynasty was going on.
For Bella, it worked out for us to just kind of go all the way homeschool, which that flexibility of being able to do school online and travel with us when she wanted to travel was just a really great blessing. And that's a great thing that LUOA offers is you can kind of move at your own pace, move faster if you need to.
So yeah, that certainly matched up for her.
Flexibility was
for sure
a key. So to be able to have LUOA to like guide her and have actual real life teachers and a whole framework set up was really, really helpful. I would say doing the online academy really prepared Bella for college. It actually, it's a lot of hard work, but the teachers are so great at helping you through it, helping you kind of through that learning curve. And I definitely feel like it really prepared her for what was to come for a college career.
Hey, welcome back to the show. Liberty Women's Soccer is days away from opening its regular season. It's a new year, new conference, but same expectations. Conference USA released its preseason poll earlier this week, and Liberty was voted to finish first in its debut season with 5 first-place votes, followed by New Mexico State and Louisiana Tech. The Lady Flames also had 5 players selected to the CUSA preseason all-conference team. Bridie Herman, who was also chosen as the co-defensive player of the year. The others making the list, goalkeeper Ainsley Leha, midfielders Rachel DeRuby and Sadie Holland, and forward Ivy Gardner. Both Herman and Leha were also named to the United Soccer Coaches Players to Watch list for defenders and goalkeepers, respectively. The rest of the positions will be announced next week. LU hits the road to face VCU in its season opener on Thursday, August 17th at 7 p.m.
Staying on the pitch, but looking at the men's side, Arnold Onyango is entering his 3rd season with the Flames. The sport of soccer has already taken this young man so far in life. Literally speaking, it's taken him almost 8,000 miles away from home. But this game has also provided him the hope he needed to get out of a hopeless situation at a young age.
Sometimes we feel we have nothing in our life. We feel like we are trash. But when we accept God in our lives, He'll bring everything together, Why did I lose my parents when I was so young? There's no meaning in life, I lose everyone. Why am I living even, My name is Arnold Onyango. I'm from Kenya, in Nairobi City. I'm from a suburb known as Kibera. It's not a great place for somebody to grow up, There's a lot of poverty. There's a lot of drug addicts. There's a lot of crime activities going on.
Arnold Onyango didn't grow up with much. And unfortunately, from a young age, he would experience great loss. First, losing his father, who left him with a special message.
He held my hands and then he was like, I'm the one who's gonna change the family, so I better work hard and at least try to help the family.
Being just a child, Arnold couldn't do much to help his family, so the responsibility fell entirely on his heartbroken mother. A few years later, Arnold would wake up to more devastating news. His mother had passed away.
I felt like something in my heart was burning so bad, like I didn't know what was happening. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I was so weak at that time. I'm not a guy who cries a lot, but I used to cry like every day. Like I could never see her again,
A young boy, now an orphan. But he did have one thing left.
My mom used to play soccer. Every day she encouraged me to play soccer. So in Africa back home, we have like things like cyber. So if you pay like for $1, you're gonna watch like a clip maybe for like 5 minutes. So that's what I used to do. I used to like go and look for money and try to watch people like Neymar, Messi, Ronaldinho. I'm gonna watch them for 5 minutes, and then we didn't even have a soccer ball, but at least we could make soccer with threads and like papers, plastic. After that, I'm gonna like take my soccer ball, I go and put like stones down, and then like try to do what I saw.
His creativity and dedication would pay off. Eventually, a Christian ministry called Karabangi Academy couldn't ignore his talent. He would get to play soccer and get an education. Arnold would also be introduced to a new way of life.
Every day after practice, they were praying. I was like, what the heck is happening, you know? There was this one time, coach was like, we have visitors and they're gonna give us like cleats and soccer ball. And at that time, like, I've never had cleats, you know? I've been playing barefooted and I didn't even have soccer ball. So I was so much happy.
Arnold would receive his new cleats and soccer ball, but he would also receive something much greater.
So the pastor was preaching, and then he was like, if you want to surrender your life to Christ, yeah, you can do it right now. So he said, repeat these words, what I'm gonna say, you know? I repeated the words, and then I felt like, wow, I was so new. I felt something new in my heart.
After giving his life to the Lord, Arnold would go on to compete for the Kenyan national team. 4 of them. Eventually, he would be recruited to play soccer and to receive a college education in America. Today, he plays Division I soccer at Liberty, one of the largest Christian universities in the country. And he takes 0 credit for it.
It wasn't my strength, it wasn't me, it was God, you know? If you know God, you're gonna do it. But if you don't know God, you can't do it, you know? So everything circles around up to God again, you know? Romans 8:37-39 says, "No, in all things we are more than conquerors, through him that loved us. For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord." Sometimes we feel we have nothing in our life. We feel like we are trash. But when we accept God in our lives, He'll bring everything together, you know?
Coming up next, when an original Rubik's Cube is just too easy, we take you out of the office right after the break.
Where you train is where you learn how to say, I know this. I've done this. I've got this. I'm ready. So you can surpass expectations when they say you're hired. At Liberty University, you'll train in world-class facilities as you prepare for a world-class career.
Does education mean a room with 4 walls, a desk, and a PowerPoint lecture?
Or is it something bigger?
What if it's the people beside you, 1 chair away or 1 ocean away?
What if it's the chance to learn from your mistakes?
as well as your victories.
And the push to keep going either way.
What if it's the freedom to reach for bigger things without missing the little ones in between?
For each of us, education looks a bit different.
Because we're each a bit different.
But at Liberty, we think education might just mean something big enough for all of us.
That's Liberty to us.
What will Liberty be to you?
Welcome back to Flame Central. You know, Matt, when I think about solving a Rubik's Cube,
Yeah.
I'm immediately stressed. I'll admit it. I've even tried to peel off the stickers to get all the colors on one side.
Always trying to take shortcuts. Well, it's a complete opposite situation for Liberty women's tennis player Bruna Sampaio. It's a hands-on hobby that she uses to relax and escape from the demands of school and tennis. And it's the focus of this week's Out of the Office.
I love the challenge. I love being able to solve things that other people can't. I love just learning new things in general. First time I purchased one, I was 11 years old, and it took me 2 hours to figure it out. As soon as I did, I just kept going and going and going until I had it down 30 seconds, 20 seconds. I was like, okay, time to get my next cube, and then I just kept buying. I always look at it like math, in a sense. It's like figuring out equations and figuring out what the problem is and how to put 1 and 2 together and just find where all the pieces fit. If I have no homework or nothing to do, I'll literally pick all of mine up and just unsolve everything, and it'll take me 2 hours to do all of them. I have 30 Rubik's Cube at home, so I'll just unsolve everything and do everything by myself. It's calmness. It's transporting you to a world where I wasn't before. You know, if I'm having any troubles, it's just something that can just take me away and just bring me to a new reality, really. When you first solve a Rubik's Cube, you really need to be patient in order to learn everything. And when you're on court, there are moments where you're gonna get frustrated because you cannot solve an opponent, you cannot win a point, you cannot just solve a match, really. And I think doing the Rubik's Cube taught me the calmness and the patience that you need in order to be calm and patient in your own match. I think sometimes we all get overwhelmed just with everything that's going on, classes, and you have professors and coaches and the pressure of winning, conference, and all of that. It's always something that you need to be so focused on in order to solve it, and just got you thinking. I like having my mind active, and it's just something that it just always got me thinking, because you're never gonna find a piece in the same place twice. It's definitely a comfortable sound and just something that brings me calmness. You mentioned tennis. It's just hitting that perfect forehand that goes off a winner on the side of the court. That's when I feel whenever I get one side of the cube right, or whenever I finish one.
How close are you to finishing it right now?
2 seconds. Done.
Really cool story. Wishing Bruna all the best this season.
Well, unfortunately, we end our show today with devastating news. It's with heavy hearts that we share the loss of one of our student athletes, offensive lineman Taj Boyd. He joined the Flames football family back in January and was preparing for his freshman season. His impact on the program, his teammates and coaches will be felt for years to come. He will be dearly missed and always remembered as a Flame.
Yeah, as a Liberty family, even in these sad times, we're thankful we can take comfort in the Lord and thankful for his peace that passes all understanding. We do ask that you please join us in keeping Taj's family and friends in your prayers.